Hi, and welcome to a new episode of the Two Comma Coffee Club. I am Valerie, and with me are my co-hosts, Lene and Michelle. And our guest today is the wonderful Dr. Rose Lawrence, who is known as Dr. Rose, the Fairy Tale Doctor. She has had a remarkable transformation in her career as a psychologist and became a published author, and has started offering courses and working a lot with women to help them transform and really step into their power and manifest their desires to the max. So welcome, Rose. Great to have you.
Hi, nice to have you. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me, you guys. I love that you guys are doing like your little the view spin here.
Yeah, exactly. And Rose has been following, studying Neville Goddard's work, and has also been mentored by, we all know each other through 2020 and his community, and has done some of those courses. And she has created so many of her own courses and new ways of working with her clients. And she's known for her book, Wake the Hell Up, Sleeping Beauty, and the Leading Lady Academy, which she had her first one. So Rose, why don't you just share with us a little bit, talk a little bit about what changed for you, and also about how you've been working in this way with your clients.
Yeah, so as you already mentioned, I am trained in psychotherapy, and I did that for, oh my God, like over 13 years. And so I did the traditional psychotherapy route, in where I treated people because they were ill or sick. And I had to diagnose them with something, and in order for them to be able to be seen and to get paid by insurance companies and all that stuff. And I also worked with them together with psychiatrists. So I'd meet with their psychiatrists, and we'd create a treatment plan on how to medicate them, medicate their symptoms, and then I would treat them through talk therapy. I did this for a while, and I burnt out twice. The first time I burnt out was in my first private practice in Chicago. And then I felt really something in me wasn't doing it I loved helping people, but I didn't like how I was helping people, but I hadn't figured that out yet. And I knew that there was something greater, and I didn't know what. So instead of really digging into and diving into that, I moved to Los Angeles, and thinking that'll do it. Opened up another private practice, successful, awesome. But it wasn't before long I felt the same way. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, so this isn't it. And it was like, not where I'm looking.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Doing the same thing over and over, and you're still not getting the new result, and you're going, what am I doing? Yeah.
Totally. So then I really started diving into me, and I started figuring out, like, what's the point? What's the purpose in life? All of that stuff, right? That most people ask themselves at some point in their life. And through that, I discovered Neville, and I discovered Law of Attraction, and Abraham Hicks, and Alan Watts. I studied all kinds of people. And I actually paid to get coached by, over a dozen different coaches with Law of Attraction, Law of Assumption, on purpose, because I wanted to know what it is that they kept talking about. I wanted to know what they were discovering. So I love studying. So I will study with anyone. If you have a course, I'll probably buy it. And because I want to learn, I want to grow. And so through that, I really started implementing Neville Goddard's teachings with my clients in therapy. And I started to see the rapid results. Mm-hmm. However, what I noticed too was that to go from feeling like a victim, and to go from feeling like you have no power, that everything's being done to you, and that, you are in this world and you have to kind of make it, right? We even say stuff like that. You have to find your way in the world and find a way to climb the ladder and build success, and we have to work hard and we have to be seen, and right, all of these things. To go from that to, yes, I can have anything I want, I'm the operant power, and everyone is me pushed out, and all of these, you know, big concepts that we initially hear, was, it's not like the easiest jump for most people, I noticed. So everyone has a different way of learning, just like we have a different way of learning. Some people are auditory, some people are visual, some people need to write it, some people need to absorb it and process it and come back, right? Everyone is unique and differently. So I realized while I was learning through all these different coaches and taking courses and observing people in all of these classes, I said, not everybody's getting it. And instead of feeling like you're being beat down, like just do it, just bite, just understand, just, you know, just, it's done. It's, you know, just accept it. It's just, persist, right? It just feels, it felt so forceful to me. And I thought, this isn't how I learn. And I know if I'm feeling this way, I know there's other people out there that feel the same way. And so I started so I started implementing all my training about people and how unique they are and how the mind works, because we are in a human body. And why not learn how to work with it instead of just denying it, that I don't need to pay attention to it. So I started implementing that with manifesting. And yes, but it's almost like I help people get to the door of manifesting first by being okay with where they are in their body and in their mind. And when I get them to the door of manifesting, it's so much easier to accept. So that's where, so I initially was working with a lot of men, and I still have men that subscribe to me, take my courses and those self-paced courses. But I transitioned over to women because that's what I realized that I truly love. And I want to help women not only go from victim to badass, right? But I want to see women like be successful with loving their body, liking themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that they're good about themselves, teaching them how to have healthy relationships that last, not just manifest a thing. And then what? And then you're going to go back to your old behavior. So I teach women to not only have something, but keep it, and also to be fearless with money, and to not look at money that same way, because money is another relationship. So I have really evolved on how I work with people, and that's where I'm at. It's more of a transformation that is not overnight, and that does not take a weekend or a couple of sessions. So I've developed programs on purpose that walk you through that precisely.
Well, I think that's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. It's very important that, you know, yes, sometimes we can be really like, wow, this is suddenly happening. But I think that the key is to give it that staying power, so we don't think it's a thing that comes and then I lost it again. Oh, I have it, then I lost it again. You're really wanting people to see, no, this can be consistent. Yes, it's every day. It's all the time. And even if you feel like it's what?
It's more about who you are. And so when you are who you are, you can't be anything different. So once you've found yourself, you don't need to go looking.
Right. That's right. Some of my clients say, oh, I just hate that I'm so self-aware now.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Like, I have one client right now that I'm working with who used to be a therapy client, and now she's a coaching client, because I don't do therapy anymore. I don't provide that mental health therapy. I've just integrated a lot of what I know into how I help people. And she went from being suicidal to suicidal, married to someone who has a drug addiction, and to really, and not liking her kids. That was the other thing. She couldn't stand being a mom, and she had 2 little ones, and she was very embarrassed that she didn't want to mother her children, and she didn't even like them. And so to now, She has amazing relationships with her two little ones. They tell her, you are the best mom in the world. And she is so proud of being a mom. She loves her body. She loves herself. She loves her life. And she was like, wow, this is amazing. And then, however, she manifested a divorce, and not a pretty not a pretty one either. And so she's learning. She's just learning all of these things. So she's in the middle of a divorce that is just like would make most women turn to a bottle of vodka or several bottle of wines. Okay. And she says, I don't have the desire to have one sip of anything because I know who I am and I'm clear. And I'm like, damn girl, that's some powerful badassery right there, to not need anything because you know what to do. And so we're in the middle of, deciding if she wants the marriage, if she doesn't want the marriage and that kind of thing. And that's up to her. However, I think it's so cool to see that you can go from needing external to feeling complete. And all the people around her are like, how are you not drinking through this? How are you not falling apart?
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, that's really incredible. And that's really why for a while, I know you're still really using that tagline, but you often say, your fairy tale begins at the end. And that's, we think happily ever after, goodbye, they've sailed off into the sunset. It's, and we kind of want, but we never talk about then what, what happened the next day when they woke up, and I think the way a lot of people look at, Prince Harry and Meghan at this point, Meghan Markle, what and there's a lot more to it than that. And I think, Rose, when in showing people, it's really, that's the point where it really starts from. That is the state that you're working with people on.
Yeah.
And how you pick up from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always see Rose as the fairy godmother in Cinderella.
Oh.
I always call her. Whenever she puts a pose, right, she's the godmother, the fairy godmother.
Yes, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Because I've heard some coaches and teachers out there saying anything is possible, but then you listen to them speak a little bit more, then they start giving you limitations. But, but not this. Oh, but just not that.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes.
Nope.
And that's why, and I've mentioned this like a million times in our Two Comma Coffee Club, but that's why there is no one person. Like, you cannot cling to one person who's the know-all, or they will turn into Master Christ and you're in a cult. You know what I mean? So you have to realize this is what works for me. And you are also manifesting, say, like, if you come across different people saying, well, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, that's you. There's so many options. Like, you are projecting so many options for you, when really it's what works for me.
Yes, I look at all these teachers as they're all you, like you said, right? And then you get to select which one fits for you. Mm-hmm. And I personally went through it, and I've seen it with many of my clients, that when they see something that a coach says, when they ask me, well, this coach said that I can't have that, or I can't have a specific person, or I can't do this. And I said, they're just showing you what you're doubting. Right. Do you want that? Do you want that? Because you're the one in charge here. So if you accept that, then that's your truth, right? So everyone literally is showing you what you doubt, what you don't believe, what you do believe, all of those things. So you look at everything like a catalog, and you're like, well, which one do I want to try? And let me go test it and see if it works. And if that one doesn't work, that's okay. I can keep testing it, or can try something different, right? And I'm going to create my own. Like I was saying, like, everyone learns different. So why would you, we don't like sticking kids in a classroom and teaching them to learn the same way, right? People complain about that all the time, right?
Yes, I totally agree.
right? If they're misbehaving, why would you force them and sit there to learn a certain way? Well, why is it any different with manifesting? We're
Right.
powerful, we're God, we're unique. We have our individual costumes, like Neville says, right? That we learn and we manifest differently. So there isn't one size fits all. And I've proven that to myself, and my clients have proven it with great success, right? That everything that they thought they couldn't do, they can do.
Mm.
And don't you find, Rose, that like when you talk about, to get over their fears around money and some other things, that sometimes there's really like one core attitude or one core fear that just kind of radiates out into all these different areas, or it could play off parenting, or it could play off the main relationship, or the way you hold a job or career. That maybe there's kind of that each of us has maybe one, like a worldview or a perspective, and that kind of goes off into, do you find that when you work with people that maybe there's one significant thing, or it's different for each one of those aspects?
I think there's both. I find sometimes that people have general beliefs that don't serve them. And that's one of the main things that I spend a lot of time working with my clients, is identifying those beliefs. And when an outsider's looking in, it's really easy to help you spot them. And because when you look in the mirror, you're just like, you can sit there with your little notebook and try to figure it out all you want. And some of it'll work. I believe that. Or you can just fast forward. You're like, you know what, can you just help me out? This is what I want. And I'm like, okay, then I start helping them investigate, right? And sometimes it is a general belief about like the world, right? It could be a general thing like the worldview, like this is a scary place to be, right? Or life is hard, or people are jerks, and you have to, all of those are general beliefs. So, but they're also personal beliefs, because everyone grows up differently, right? All of four of us grew up differently talking about money, I'm sure. So we're going to carry those beliefs with us. So understanding your uniqueness, right? And understanding what you brought in to your present moment, and actually investigating it. I don't avoid fears and doubts. I've actually learned to face them head on and investigate them, unpack them. And this is a really fast process that I take my clients through. That sounds like it's painful and therapeutic or whatnot, but it's not, because I've learned to unpack things very fast and to help people switch it around. So you're not repeating the same beliefs, the same assumptions, and the same behaviors. And sometimes we're just so blind to them. And we want something so bad. Like people tell me, Rose, I want this so bad, and I want to believe, I want to have faith, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just do it, right? Because they spend more time wanting than actually figuring out why they're not actually believing. So sometimes, yes, there's general and there's specific, but everyone has their own little suitcase, or like I call it a backpack we bring through life. And it's just like, let's just look inside of there. Let's get rid of some of this crap and put some of the cool stuff in there that you want to have.
Wow. Yeah, that's exactly right. So when you started the first the Leading Lady Academy, what were some of the ideas that it was a very small group. I think you're limiting it at this time to about 10 women. And, what were some of the ideas that made you decide to create that, and what you were, some of the components that people might be looking at in doing that?
So the Leading Lady Academy is amazing. And I honestly didn't expect it to have this level of success with the women that have done it. And I thought that it would be a cool thing to introduce people to the different 4 areas that I walk them through. And one of them is building confidence in self, trusting self. And then we move on to liking and loving your body. And then we move on into healthy, sustainable relationships. And then the last week is all about being fearless with money. And so I walk them through things that they actually apply. I don't conceptualize, and I don't let you think. If I see you thinking too much, I yank you to a side and I say, get over here. And I will call people out on a hot seat. live Zoom calls, and we unpack these things together, and everybody loves to watch it because chances are they're feeling it too.
Mhm.
So the Leading Lady Academy is really like a boot camp to an introduction, a boot camp to what I actually do when I work with people for my 90 days or 6 months. Because I probably over deliver in this academy, and because the number one complaint is like, oh my God, there's so much information, but they want to keep it and they want to keep going, right? Even though I even implemented a day off in between, like one day you don't get any homework so that you can catch up or process or assimilate what you're learning with the assignments that I give you. So the academy was really to help you see that, one, you're not a victim, and that it's all possible. These areas in your life that you struggle with, right? Trusting yourself, your body, and your finances, and love and relationships, to see that, hey, I can have this, right? And then to see how you're stopping yourself. And so that's what my goal was for the academy, and it blew it out of the water, because the ladies that have taken it are doing amazing. They're doing amazing.
Well, I'm sold. Sign me up.
Absolutely.
It
No,
does. It
that's
sounds
wonderful.
wonderful, Rose.
Yeah.
You know, and the fearless with money, that's such a major piece, you know, because we explore that a lot. I did my book about that, and it's like, you know, the fearless with money doesn't necessarily mean that you take a wad of your hard-earned cash and go to Vegas or to the nearest casino. Well, maybe
You can go to a casino.
I can do I can not, but it's
if you're smart, do it, go.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, just go. And you know, but there is a lot of fear. That is such a loaded issue, is because so many false impressions around our confidence in earning money or in growing money, investing money, that we lay this big trip on ourselves, that we don't have what it takes to be able to do that we have to be at some very, you know, other level, that only the big guns are out there. But no, it's not. That's actually not the case, right? So, you know, if you want to talk about that a little bit,
we all have what it takes to have what we want. And part of what I do on last week is I also, not everyone is familiar with it, and some people are, but one of the things that I'll share with you that I do, a little sneak peek in that last week of the money, is I teach women how to invest in the stock market. And I teach very basic things how to do that. That's just one of the assignments that I help them walk through, and how you react to the stock market and how you're looking at the numbers and what you're doing with those. Because any reactions that come up when you lose money, right? Any reactions that you have when you're gaining money, those are full of gold. And so we unpack that, and we look at these reactions to money, because that is really where you want to be looking at within yourself. So I love action. I take action in my academy, and I have my ladies take action, and we talk about money very openly. And if you have the desire to go to the casino, right, go, right? If you have the desire to, just, I was looking at a pair of $300 shoes, and I hesitated. And I said, I already own one, but I want these other ones. And I hesitated, and I went to go take a shower instead. And I said, why am I hesitating? I want them. Okay, then buy them. And if I stop myself, it's only to investigate. I don't stop myself to discipline myself or to judge myself or to put myself down, right? I'm very bold though. And if I have a desire, I lean into it and I grab it. I don't think twice about it. And if I do, I investigate it. I don't judge it, and I don't distract myself. We're like, well, maybe another time, or maybe this,
if there's a cheaper version. That's what I used to do.
Is there a coupon, right?
Sure. Or am I depriving some other area of my life or some other person, by
Totally.
you know,
The guilt of like, oh, well,
starving
got your son a pair of shoes.
animals. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was
exactly.
terrible with guilt and money, Rose, because I'm a single mum of 4 children. So if ever I spent it on myself, I used to think,
Yeah.
oh God, what could this be getting them? Or how many dinners could I be putting on the table with that? And now I just enjoy it.
Right. That's right. It's like you have the money for all of that.
Yeah.
The
Or
money for
I'm a
all of that.
responsible mom for going to the casino
Right.
last weekend and yesterday, you know, in the same month. But like, dude, you have a roof over your head. Y'all are fed. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. I wake up every morning and every morning I wake up and I say, provide for me. And that's all I say. I just wake up in the morning and I say, provide for me. And because I know I'm speaking to myself,
mhm.
right? That way, when I go throughout the day, I don't poop on my desire of having something. I just allow myself to have it. So it's different for everyone. And I love how, Neville accentuates the natural, right? It has to be natural to you. What's natural to me is not going to be natural to the rest of you. And so whatever feels natural to you, then do it, right? Just lean into it instead of saying, well, she did it, or I'm going to do it too. It's like, well, if that's
Right.
natural to you, then do it. If it's not, don't.
Go exactly. That's right. And it has to feel natural. That there was a quote I posted in your Wake the Hell Up Sleeping Beauty Academy a few weeks ago from Fran Lebowitz, the humorist, the author, and social commenter, and she says, I have no guilty pleasures. She said, pleasure never makes me feel guilty.
Yeah.
So, it's like exactly right. Is get over that idea that if it pleases you and is right for you, you stop. You don't have to look over your shoulder with that, somebody going to find me out kind of feeling that we get.
I want to add to what you're saying, because in working with people one-on-one or even in the group, right? What I noticed that almost every single woman came in with, because they had already taken a lot of courses. And what I noticed every single one of them came in with is knowledge, lots of knowledge. Like they can quote me, their coach, they can quote me, Neville, they can quote me, all kinds of things. And they sounded beautifully perfect. And I'm all, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that you believe this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't believe it. Because if you believed it, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You would be showing me and blinging
That's
me
great.
what your successes, right? So I'm a little bit of a direct, I'm a loving and direct, because I want to get results.
Abdullah.
I want to have results. Yes. So when I hear someone yapping a lot and I'm like, show me the results. What was that? Are you complaining about how you have to pay $5 for your Starbucks again? Right? How are you keeping yourself out? You're glorifying that you saved money. Right? So I listen to people, but I listen to people, but I'm also watching. I'm also observing. Is your money where your mouth is? Because that's the truth. That's the truth if you really believe or not. Because if you believe and you have faith in your power, you test it. Like Neville says, you test it.
Yeah.
And you boldly go after it. And that is what I've seen with most people that I work with, is it's scary AF to boldly go after something, right? Because you feel your body shaking, you feel the knot in your stomach. You're like, oh my God, what if I can't do this? What if I don't have enough money for the rent if I do this? And right, all of these, and that is the stuff that I'm like, that is the stuff that I love working with, all that fear. I'm like, come over here. Let's look at that stuff, because you are on the cusp of greatness if you feel that way. So get over here.
Oh, I love that.
Brilliant.
Isn't it? That's just fantastic.
That's what I loved about the teachings of Neville when I came across them, is that all the while he's like, don't take my word for it, go test it, go prove it, get your own evidence and come back and tell me how true it is.
Yes. Oh yeah, totally.
I like learning, but only like reading a book or, researching something only takes you so far. And even
That's
like
right.
in research, what's the fun part? Applying it.
Yeah, delving into it.
Yes, like it's all about the experience and the action of what you're learning and what you're researching and all of that.
Yes, even though I know who I am and I have become a very fast manifester, and I see it all the time. I'm like, yep, I did that. Yep, I did. But I still sometimes, and I'm sure you all can agree, it's like I still sometimes will go, holy shit, I did that.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
All the time.
It's like,
Even the things we didn't want.
Yes.
Because when the bulb, you know, the
Didn't
light
win.
bulb goes on, and we suddenly go, I did that. I manifested that. I thought that, and you know, I had that feeling, and it became that, and like this, you know, and we go, holy, you know, that all came out.
That's it. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
people really, really, really start to and then you find it's just all the time. So yeah, you can pat yourself on the back, or you can say, I think I have to go back and revise on that one. And that's you know, when we get into that area too, and because Neville of course taught revision, but you can also amp up in your revision. As we know, it doesn't have to just be taking, you know, a dumb conversation you had with somebody that didn't go really expected. It can be something that was really a nice conversation, and you're elevating that into a still greater place and waiting for that to open. So a lot of times with manifesting, sometimes it's, you see the result like in seconds or minutes, or almost like somebody calls you or whatever, or you get the email that you wanted, or it can even be, you know, it might be a little delayed, but then you go, oh, that's where I was coming from. That was, you know, I moved into, and I just had to wait for it to catch up to me. I was already there, you know, and
I just like noting everything, every little thing, any big, whatever. I know size doesn't matter. It's all a manifestation. And actually telling yourself that, right, is like, it's all the same. All my manifestations are the same size. But I also, what I love doing is noting every time, even if it's like, you know, like I found something or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I just always tell myself like, damn, I'm fast. Damn, I'm fast.
damn, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's a great state to walk from though, isn't it? Damn, I'm a fast manifester.
Damn, I'm fast state.
I love that. That's a great state.
Yourself is just affirming to yourself, and you're just like constantly, you know, reminding yourself how fast you are.
It's nourishing yourself, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because I do say affirmations throughout the day, because they help me. They bump me back into the state. And I'm just, when I celebrate myself, we talk in affirmations. That's how we talk. And everything you say out of your mouth to me is an affirmation.
Yes.
So when I'm like, damn, I'm fast, that's affirming that I am, and I'm assuming that I am, even though I might be doubting myself.
Right. But the difference, but the difference is, it's not an affirmation like you're trying to paste it on yourself and make it fit you and feel artificial. This is,
you're feeling it.
It's evolved. You're feeling it. You're living it. It's a very different kind. It's fully dimensionalized affirming. It's not just, I'm reading this words on a piece of paper. It's different.
It's different. But I do use affirmations every day, and I teach my clients them. But we come up with ones that they can actually buy into. Right.
Yeah. See, that's the key.
That's the difference, because I do believe in that, but they have to be natural to you.
Yes. The natural.
Yes.
Feel natural to you. It can't just be like someone told me to say it, so I'm going to say it. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy into, you know, just like, I am appreciated, you know, that kind of thing. And I actually just did this the other day, where I walked through, and this is going to probably be one of my next YouTube videos, that I'm going to walk people through how to actually feel what you want, instead of just saying it, because that's the goal. Feeling appreciated, that's what I want. Okay. But if you've never felt appreciated, which a lot of people say, it's like, if you've never been married, if you've never been a millionaire, if you've never, like, how do you feel it? Right. And there is a way, right? There is a way. You just have to massage it into yourself. And so that you know what it, and we have contrast. We know what we don't like what Abraham Hicks always says, right? We know what we don't like. So if you know what you don't like, you know what you want, right? Back in my law of attraction days. So I believe.
Yeah, but sometimes isn't it easier to know what you don't want than what you do? And really getting, that's the key, is when you can really get to know what you want, you know?
Yeah, we start, and it's easier when my clients say, I don't know what I want with my life, or if they come to me with wanting a business, or like, I don't know what kind of business that I want, but I know I want to own my own business. All right, so we start with what you don't like, what you don't want. So that's, knowing that, and the negatives, right, is actually very helpful. It's your goal.
Right. That's
We've
right.
got to wrap up now because we've only got a minute left.
So real quick, when is your next Leading Lady Academy?
Well, my next one, my second round just closed. So my next one, probably, I'm not really sure on the date, probably won't be until May. So probably May or June, I'm thinking.
Good. Okay. So people, and we'll post where people can find you and your various links. And RosieLife.com is perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Dr. Rose.
Thank
Lawrence,
you for your time, Dr. Rose.
It's been awesome. We'll see
Fairy
you again.
Godmother.
Yeah. Thanks so much. And you've been watching 2 Comma Coffee Club. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.
Bye.